Okay, so I'm going to give it about 30 more seconds before we kick off. But today's session is going to be all about document posts. So some people call them carousels. That's actually not the correct term for them, but we're going to be talking today about document posts, why they're so important to your credibility, how you can use them, best top tips in terms of how you can create them, and giving you lots of ideas for them as well. So good morning, Shabna. Hi, Monique. Hi, Steve. Mark, you're here for the first time in Derby, down the road from me. Congratulations for being here and good to see you. Very good. So let's get started. So I've not got any slides to share with you today. I thought we'd just dive into the LinkedIn platform. But first off, I want to get a sense from the audience as to who is using document posts and who is not. So that will give me a steer as to where I take the content today. So I'm just going to launch a poll. So I see some of you are using the chat box here, but I'm just going to launch a quick poll with a couple of questions on it. So first question is, how often are you using document posts? So if you've never posted one or have no idea what I'm talking about, that would be the first option. Hardly ever once a month or more than once a month. So that's your first question. Second question, what is stopping you from creating document posts? So is it lack of ideas, lack of time? Maybe you don't think you're some kind of designer and you don't really want to go out there, or just something else. If it is something else, pop it in the chat box for me. And finally, do you personally download or read other people's document posts? And if so, why? So there we go. There's the questions. Well, now I'll just leave it open. I've got about 70% of you answered so far, so I'll leave that open. For those of you just joining, welcome. We're talking all about document posts today. If you're watching on YouTube, if you want to participate and comment below in the comments and share with me the answers to the questions there as well. Ollie, you've said you don't know the values, so that's what we're going to focus on today. So why are they important? Why would you bother? And what kind of things can you use them for, etc.? And why is the algorithm so favorable of them at the moment? So let's have a look. I think we've got most of you answered now. So just end the poll and launch the results. Now, for those of you watching on my YouTube channel or watching the replay, you won't see the shared. So I'm going to read it out. So 55% of you on here have never posted one, and 20% hardly ever. 20% of you are posting more than once a month. So that's good. For the 20%, hopefully you'll get some tips today about how to make them better, or how to make them more engaging, or how to drive more impressions from them. And for those of you that are just not using them, hopefully I'll inspire you today to go away and do that. And what's stopping people? It's quite mixed, actually. It's a mix of all of them. So don't know what to post about and lack of time being the top ones. People often think it takes like hours to create a document post. It really doesn't. And some of you are just saying I'm terrible at design. And finally, depending on the topic, 50% of you are saying, depending on the topic, I will download them. And quite a few of you just like, not really, I've never really engaged with them. Okay, good. So let me stop that share. Okay, so first off, let's talk about document posts and why they're important. So first off, if you are somebody with any form of expertise, so if you've got lots of knowledge up here in your brain and you want to give that knowledge and expertise to your prospects and to people on the newsfeed, document posts are a great way of doing this. You probably will have noticed some shifts in the LinkedIn algorithm recently. There was an interview that got published yesterday in the Entrepreneur magazine, interviewing the product officers and some of the top key people at LinkedIn. And what they're saying now is that there's been a shift in the algorithm in terms of there being less focus on personal posts, less focus on viral posts, things like that. And what they are prioritizing is posts where there is some professional advice or business advice, and that advice matches to the person's profile in terms of what they're saying they're an expert in. So if I'm an expert in LinkedIn and Sales Navigator and social selling, and I go doing a post about geology, which might be a hobby of mine, there's nothing on my profile that suggests that I might be into geology, for example. So there's not going to be a strong algorithm match to them sharing that post about geology, for example. But if I were to do a strong post about my core topic and my expertise, which is clearly demonstrated on my LinkedIn profile, then it's more likely to get traction. So there has been a shift to more kind of professional posts being favored, which for most people would be happy about their feed kind of dropping all the stuff that would have been going quite viral, but maybe wasn't the place for LinkedIn. So what does that mean for document posts? Well, document posts are a really, really good way for you to demonstrate your credibility and expertise. And for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about with a document post, I'm just going to actually put one on screen so you can actually see what a document post looks like. Now, I'm just going to share this here. So this is what a document post looks like. It's where you're uploading a PDF or a PowerPoint slide deck or a Word document, and it allows you to scroll through to the right hand side, and it's like the turning pages of a book. So this is what I mean by a document post. Okay, so this is an example of one I did recently. This is one that I posted last week, and there's another one here that I posted 4 days ago, 7 ways to win more business from your existing network. So again, you can see here 16 pages I can scroll through. It's partly images and partly text, but it's very, very high level bullet point stuff. It's not going to like rock somebody's world. It's just very quick to consume. Somebody can get through that in 30 seconds. And on the mobile news feed, you can actually download those PDFs and save them, not on the desktop version, but you can go into the mobile app and actually download them to your phone. So I think I've downloaded maybe 100, 150 other people's document posts that I found in the news feed. So knowing that people do download these, you want to make sure that you have your branding on there, because if I download your PDF onto my phone and I don't remember who published it, I might not know who to go back to if I want to do business with that person. And also use some call to actions in there. So I use things like, what are you going to do from this list? Comment below. Because if I use comment below in my text at the top there, the algorithm is going to pick that up as me trying to get engagement. Whereas if I do it in the document, it allows me to perform better. And I encourage reposts, because reposts of an existing post will actually help your post go further and get into more and more people's news feeds. So I do some call to actions at the end of mine. Sometimes I reference my book, sometimes I reference an event that I'm doing, for example. But these are easy to create, simple to do, and are favored massively by the algorithm at the moment. So that's what I mean by a document post. Okay. Now, if you have specific questions, I'm going to come to Q&A at the end. So about 5 to 10 5 minutes before, 10 minutes before the hour, I'm going to go on to Q&A. So if you do have specific questions, you can put that up there rather than using the chat box for me, because I won't see the questions. The chat box moves quite quickly. So if you have posted a question in the chat box, please pop it over to the Q&A and I'll get to those in a second. Now, a few other reasons, I'm just going to stop the share for a second. A few other reasons why these are good. Okay. So first off, they massively help you to build your credibility and expertise. Like if you're trying to position yourself as like the go-to person, go have a look at what other people in your space are doing. If they're not posting document posts, they're missing an opportunity. You'll get quite high impressions on a document post compared to your other types of posts at the moment. They're still quite favored by the LinkedIn algorithm because they are allowing you to showcase that expertise. They are quite easy to create. I'm going to go over to show you how I create mine in just a second. But the other thing that I like about them is that you can actually really easily repurpose existing content that you've got. So let's say you've written an article or a blog about a particular topic. You could very easily grab the 7 or 8 different things that you've mentioned inside the article or blog and turn them into a document post. So you haven't necessarily got to come up with ideas from scratch. You probably already have video content or written content, long form written content that you could turn into a document post. So they're great for repurposing. They're really, really good for that. They're not particularly deep dive. You'll notice it's like high level bullet point and maybe a couple of sentences, but that's it. It's enough for people to understand that you know what you're talking about, but not enough for them to get everything from you that they could possibly want. So yeah, absolutely. You can definitely repurpose and take long form content and turn it into a document post. I'm just going to show you a couple of examples. So if you want to go and have a look at other people's document posts, so I'm going to share with you Eric. Eric was a client of ours. When I met Eric, like pre-lockdown, he was not on LinkedIn at all. He was like, no idea what I'm doing. Now he's got over 100,000 followers. He's smashing it from a content perspective. But I'm just going to show you where you can actually go and see other people's documents if you want to get an idea and to see if they're posting them. So Eric here is a king of the document post. When you go to someone's profile, I'm going to go and share screen so you can see what I'm seeing here. So this is Eric Partaker. He's known as the CEO coach. He was a CEO of Skype. Like, he's got quite a big credibility in the coaching space. So when you go to someone's LinkedIn profile, you can scroll down underneath the featured section and you can see their activity. Now you can see their posts, their recent posts, but if you go all the way across to the right-hand side, you can click on documents and it actually takes you to all of the document posts that they have created. So for example, 6 hidden traps to avoid when making decisions, right? So Eric posts really good stuff around leadership, etc. So if I want to go and have a look at all his document posts and get some inspiration, consume that content, I can go over here and actually see all of his document posts. So crush distraction, reclaim 10 years of lost time, why I never procrastinate anymore, 7 delegation mistakes, how to switch off from work. Like, he's got some really, really good document posts. So find people that are using document posts, go have a look at theirs and get inspired. I would recommend that you've got consistency of branding. So you can see that Eric has got his logo in all of them. It's the same colors, it's the same branding. I'm the same. So it's important that you're thinking about, like, how can you stand out on the news feed? So that is one of the things I would consider. Now, just going to stop share there. Just give me 1 second because I know that I'm about to cough. Apologies, everyone. So first off, let's talk about ideas for these, and then we'll go into how you actually create them. So I would recommend doing an expertise brain dump. Okay, so what I mean by this is get yourself into a space away from digital distractions. So turn your phone off, get rid of your iPad, stay away from your emails, all of that. Either go out into nature, or find a space in your house or your office where you don't normally hang out. So it's kind of a different environment for you. And simply, all I want you to do is grab pen and paper, right? This is kind of old school. But rather than doing this electronically, I want you to go and either mind map this or just literally write down all the different topics that you have expertise on. Start with the kind of the big topics. So think about, I call these your macro topics. So think about topics that you have like big expertise on. So for me, that might be LinkedIn as like the big macro topic, but within that I could talk about LinkedIn profiles, I could talk about content, personal brand, sales navigator. Like, there's lots and lots of things I could talk about within that subject, but start with the big topics. So that might be leadership, it might be diversity and inclusion, it might be recruitment, whatever the things are that your kind of expertise is in. Then start to brain dump all of the things you know about that topic. So it's like the mini micro topics that are in that. If you're stuck, I've got another video called 100 content ideas in 30 minutes. So if you are stuck on this, like, go watch that video on my YouTube channel, because that will help you to do this process. But think about all the topics that you're really, really good at, that you've got expertise in. Go back over your other content, go back over your long form content, your LinkedIn posts, your social media posts in other platforms, and think, like, what are the things that I could talk about? And break them down into mini micro topics, and just keep writing on those topics until you can't think of anything else that you could post about. And each one of those could have 3 or 4 document posts that you could do about it. So if I think about like the LinkedIn profile, for example, there are 20 elements on a LinkedIn profile. So I could do 4 different document posts, each one with 5 of the key elements of a LinkedIn profile, and do it in 4 different parts. So rather than do one massive document post and have it like 50 odd pages, I could do 4 different ones with maybe 10 to 15 pages. I wouldn't recommend more than 15 to 20 pages in one document post. I've seen people posting like pages of like 50, 60, 118 pages, and it's very, very long to consume. You want to ideally be somewhere between the 10 and 20 mark in terms of the ideal length for a document post. But thinking about all the different things that you could actually post about, break it down into small micro topics, and then come up with like 7 ways to do this, 10 tips for this, and kind of give it a number so that you're almost working to a template structure. But absolutely, like, pen and paper for me is like the easiest and best way to brain dump. Like, and just change your environment. Like, I did my brain dump the other day. Like, it was a beautiful sunny day. I went out into the garden, got myself a nice blanket, laid out in the sun, and I just got my pen and paper and just like was in creativity heaven, right? So think about all the things that you could post about. Each one of those micro topics equals a document post. And guess what? You can also use that exercise for all your other content too, by the way, articles, normal posts, text only posts, video posts. Like there's lots of things you can do with that. So I'm now going to show you how I create my document post. Now, there are lots of ways to do this. If you are not a designer, that's okay. Luckily, there are some great tools out there that allow you to have great templates and things like that and change it to your own branding. But the easiest tool for me to use for these is canva.com. So some of you may have heard of Canva Type. Yes, if you've heard of canva.com. But I'm just going to go over to Canva now and just share with you like how easy it is to do this. So canva.com has a free version and a paid version. So you can go into the free version, click on create a design, and you can either create an A4 document, you can choose a particular size, like choose the custom size there, or you can create, for example, a flyer. And that would allow you to create this kind of document, and it starts with a blank page, and on the left hand side you can see you've got all these different templates. So these are flyer templates, for example, on the left hand side, but you could pick a design that you like. Maybe it's got the right colors that you're looking for. Even if it doesn't have the right colors, you can just change those colors once you add it in there. So you could do a flyer, you could do a presentation. So I'll go back and start a new design. So if you wanted to do like a landscape version of a document, you could choose presentation, and it could be a landscape version of a document. So entirely up to you how you want to do it, but you can see here how easy this is, right? So if I wanted to pick this one here, I can literally add this across, create my document post, add my logo in here, etc., and away you go. And you can see under here, you can literally add all of those in. So however you want to do it, like there is no excuse to have bad design skills, because Canva allows you to literally create these. Once you have created your document, so let's say if I wanted to add another page in here, I'll literally just add a few in. Imagine these are all my lovely posts. You can add ones with images, etc. I can literally click on share, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to download it, but I'm going to download it as a PDF. And you've got PDF standard, PDF for print. PDF standard is fine. Download it, and then you've got your file set up and ready to go. So I'm just going to download that there. And then all you do is you simply come across to LinkedIn and you go to the home feed. And when you go to post a document post, you're going to click up here. And instead of using a photo, a video, an event, or a poll or anything like that, you just click on the ... and you'll see across here you've got add a document. So I'm going to click on add a document. I'm just literally going to go to that file that I've just created. Obviously I'm not going to post it because I've literally just created it, but just so you can see how easy this is to do, PDF document test. LinkedIn is going to do all the techie stuff to turn it into the moving slides. I've literally created that in seconds. Obviously I haven't done the words and everything, but I can now literally just give that whatever name I want to do. And then as I post it, I can just type my normal post that I want to type. So you still need to create the text that goes with it, but that is how it then appears on the newsfeed. So that is as simple as it gets when it comes to actually posting a document post. So Canva is awesome. If you are not Canva familiar, and you want to go and just use a standard PowerPoint, like you can go across to PowerPoint and then use your PowerPoint slides. You've probably already got presentation decks full of this stuff. And you can then download the PDF version of that PowerPoint. So you could grab some content you've already got in slides, for example, not have to reinvent the wheel, and then download that as a PDF as well. You can also upload Word documents. But obviously, the prettier you can make it, the nicer it looks, the more branded it is, the better. And keep that consistency so that every time you post a document post, people know that it's coming from you. I tend to also use like pictures of myself. I know it sounds a bit egotistical, but I want my face in the newsfeed, because people, when they see a document, they might not recognize who it's from. So I tend to use my face on the front page along with the title. It just allows me to, to get in the newsfeed as well. And then if someone does download it, they remember that it was me that created it. Okay. So I'm going to come to questions in just a second, but I've seen there, Laura, you've said ultimately documents are a great way to help you become a thought leader. Absolutely. These are things that you can use. I don't use them all the time. Maybe I post maybe one every 1 to 2 weeks, something like that. But they always get the highest number of impressions at the moment, outside of videos. So videos for me get the most engagement. Document posts get the most impressions. They get the most reposts, the most reshares. Like, they are, for me at the moment, the way that I'm building credibility and authority in my space, combined with videos. Like, I'll post a snippet of this training that I'm doing today, and I'll post that on the newsfeed later today. It will get a lot of engagement as well. So they're really, really good for that. So I can see I've got lots of questions in the Q&A. So if you do have a specific question, pop over to the Q&A. If you're watching on YouTube, ask me questions below in the comments and I will reply to all of those. So let's have a look here. Michelle, you've said, would you edit down existing content and encourage people to visit the website and read the longer version? Yes, you could absolutely do that. So there is nothing stopping you adding some links into the document if you want to take people out to go read the full article, or put it into the text itself to go read the long version. You know, I encourage people to go visit my YouTube, for example. So I'll just share with you one of my recent ones that I did. I think I did something similar to that on Canva, like on one that I did this week. So let me just double check how I would share with you. So I'm just going to make sure I have definitely done that. Yeah, perfect. So for example, I'm just going to share screen to show you how I used a couple of links inside mine. So for example, in my last document post that I did about winning more business from your existing network, I put links in here where people can go get more information. So for 100 free content ideas, go to pipeline44.com/content ideas. And I think I put access to the, so register here. I added the link into the document, but I also could add that into the comments or the text of the post itself. So yeah, if you want to move people to the longer form version of it, you absolutely could, by doing what I've just demonstrated there. So that's done. Yeah, so Caroline, you've said, do we create the document as a PDF to upload as a document? Yes, absolutely. That's exactly how you do it. Kate, can you use the schedule feature in LinkedIn for these? Yes, you can. It is one of the post types that you can schedule 100%. Best dimensions. So that's a good question, David. So squares will work quite well. So custom size in Canva, you can make a square. So you could do like, I don't know, 600 by 600 or 1200 by 1200. I typically use like the flyer one, which is kind of like it's like an A5 size. But on LinkedIn, on the mobile app, it comes up the right way. But I would go for either like 16 by 9 as a presentation slide, which is how you would set up a PowerPoint presentation, an A4 or A5 flyer, if you want that kind of vertical approach, or a square. If you use a square, you can also use the photos in Canva to create like an Instagram post, for example, as well. So squares are good for that. Let's have a look. Are links back to your website allowed into the PDFs? So I use links in my PDFs, but they're not clickable on the actual document. So so they are allowed, but I just put them as like easy, friendly URLs so that somebody could easily go type them if they wanted to, just like I showed you just there. Does a document get buried in the feed, or are they accessible at any time by title? So they are accessible on the way I showed you how we got to Eric's document. So someone can go to all your posts and then click on, just like they can go and see all the articles you've written, or all your documents you've written, or all your posts you've ever written, or all your comments. They now are splitting out inside people's profiles, so you can go and see everybody's posts. It's different to an article, where like an article would get indexed on for SEO and things like that, but they don't get buried necessarily. They actually stay for quite a long time, 2-3 weeks usually. Mine keep going, as long as people are engaging with them and making comments and reposting them, etc. Let's have a look what else. Wow, loads of questions today. Should we not have a call to action in a post? So you can have call to actions in a post. However, people are using call to actions to drive engagement, and the algorithm is picking up on certain words. So things like comment below, or link in the comments, things like that are going to be picked up by the algorithm as somebody trying to drive engagement from their post. So and also words like, go and look, go for the full thing on my YouTube channel. Like, I never use the word YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or any of the other platform names inside my post, because even though I would want people to go to my YouTube channel, for example, I don't use that word in my post. I'll use go check out my channel, but I'll say channel, not YouTube, for example. Or I might use Y-T, for example, because people know what that means. So you can use call to actions, but just watch how you're wording them, so that the algorithm doesn't think you're just trying to game for engagement. I use the call to action in the document because if someone gets all the way to the end, first off, you want to try and get people scrolling all the way to the end. That drives the algorithm crazy. Like every click through to the next tip, next tip, next tip, all the way to the end, that's going to help you with impressions and help you with engagement, because the algorithm is going to look at it and go, well, people are reading it and people are going all the way to the end of that document. So can we convert long form posts into PDFs and post them as docs? 100%. We've already answered that question, but yes, that's how I would recommend you do this. If you've already got long form blogs, articles, content out there that is easy for you to just repurpose, grab the header and a couple of sentences in a document post, really, really good shout to do that. I think we've done. Let's have a look. Can LinkedIn read the content in a PDF? I actually don't know the answer to that, Michelle, in terms of SEO. I know that obviously they massively rate it from like articles and posts and things like that. They do pull it through. I would still, even in a document post, I would still use quite a lengthy text with it to include the type of things that you want to focus on and hashtags and things like that. But I don't know if it reads the content inside a PDF. I actually don't know the answer to that, but if somebody else does, that would be helpful to know. Will hashtags help people find the post if they get buried? Yes, absolutely. So hashtags, no more than kind of 3 to 10 hashtags on a post, but yes, they can help the post get found. But you know, document posts do quite well. They don't necessarily get that buried. So if you're not using them and have never tried one, I highly recommend you do, and make it a good one. So it looks like those are most of the questions answered. So Laura, you've said, I know you're not in the Q&A, but I have seen it in the chat box. A lead magnet is good for getting new subscribers onto your email list, whereas documents are good for creating content for social media and being a thought leader. Absolutely, yeah. So I wouldn't use your lead magnet as your a document post. A lead magnet is specifically for driving email subscribers. But you can see there I used my document post to drive my email subscribers. So that 100 content ideas does require an email to download. So I used my lead magnet inside my document post to drive that content. You definitely wouldn't want to create your lead magnet and post it as a document post, because then you're not capturing the email address. So 100% your lead magnet, and your lead magnet should be on your like your LinkedIn profile at the very top, where you can actually get people to download something. Your PDFs and your document posts, another great way to use them, let me just head back over to LinkedIn, is, we go here, is actually on your LinkedIn profile. So you're going to go across to your LinkedIn profile, and great ways to use these as well are in your featured section. So you can add obviously articles and things like that, but you can actually add media to your LinkedIn featured section. So if you wanted to actually upload something to your featured section, this is that one I just created in Canva. Obviously I'm not going to upload it, but I can change the header here. I can say 8 ways to use document posts, for example. I can add a description, and if I want to, I can change the thumbnail here as well. So I can then upload that as something on my featured section if I wanted to. You could add the original post with the document post in there, but you can upload them here. And the other place you can upload them is, and I recommend this, is underneath your work experience. You can actually add media links in here as well. So I can upload PDFs. You can see there I've got 5 media links: 8 ways to build your LinkedIn network, 15 ways to build pipeline, 20 elements of an effective profile. I've got those all sitting underneath my work experience, and they are PDF document posts that I've created. So again, you can come in here, you can click on edit, and then you can come down to the bottom and add media, and I can upload that PDF document. So you can see here I can upload this one. And again, it allows me to put more of my expertise inside my profile, for example. So there's lots and lots of ways you can use them once you've got them. It's just uploading the thumbnail now, but again, I could change this title here and call it The Power of Document Posts. I am actually going to do a document post about document posts. The Power of Document Posts, add a description. That is going to be my next document post, funny enough, ironically. So that is how I would then do it. And then I can add that to my profile. So there's other ways you can use them once you've got them. Chris, I'm absolutely 100% certain that there are AI tools that can help you with this. There are a few different tools I've been testing out with designs, for example. So if you're really stuck on design, you can't figure out Canva, there is a new AI tool called Dectopus, which helps you with presentations. But if you just type in presentation slide designer AI, tons of them come up. They've all got free trials, so there's lots and lots of them out there. But I was playing around with Dectopus the other day, and it allowed me to create a presentation. But you still got to. It's only as good as the input you give it, like everything with AI. So you still got to give it good prompts. You've got to give it good content. But it does say, give me the title of your presentation, and then it comes up with images and it comes up with designs for it. So yes, absolutely. And play around with presentation deck slide type tools with AI, and you'll find some things that can help you with that as well. So there really is no excuse for those of you that said I don't have any time, or those of you that said I don't have very good design skills. You need neither, right? This is quick, easy to do. You've got that knowledge and expertise. This is about using it, turning it into document posts and getting it onto the newsfeed. So give me an emoji of choice in the chat box for those of you watching live if you found this helpful. I hope that you have. And type yes for me if you're now planning to go off and create a document post on the newsfeed. I hope that I'm going to see an influx of them. Happy to comment and engage with it. So if you want to tag me in the post, feel free to do so. If you got inspired today to do that, I really hope, wow, there's so many of you saying yes. I love it. Brilliant. So thanks for today, everyone. The replay will be going out if you didn't catch everything. If you didn't manage to take notes, we'll get that on email to you. As I said to you, these are every Wednesday, 9:30 till 10, Wednesdays with me to help you win on LinkedIn. I help you create money and not noise from the LinkedIn platform. And remember, if you're not LinkedIn, you're totally linked out. Have a great week, everyone.